3, 2, 1, action.
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Faith.
And I'm Kayla.
And welcome to the PAWSE.
Faith, why are you studying? We're filming.
Kayla, AP tests are next week.
I've been stressed about that all year, and now it's finally here.
Do you remember last year coming right out of state testing just to go right into our AP tests?
Oh, I remember. It was one of the most overwhelming experiences of my life.
It's beyond stressful, but we're just supposed to go with it.
It's our normal.
It shouldn't be a normal though.
Students are put under so much stress on top of the responsibilities we have to deal with.
And if you can't handle it, you're considered lazy or irresponsible.
But what do we know? We're only teenagers. What could we be possibly stressed out about?
Oh, I know. It's not like we have lives or responsibilities of our own or anything.
On a serious note, all the pressure I'm put under causes me to be anxious all the time. And I know I'm not alone.
I know what you mean. We're expected to be this perfect kid, student, employee.
We have to meet our parents' standards and be the perfect son or daughter.
We have to go above and beyond our studies.
Students feel pressure to be involved in every single activity they can until they spread themselves too thin.
And why do we feel the pressure to do this? Just to be accepted into a college which is going to cause us even more stress.
We all want to go to the best schools, even if it isn't the best situation for us.
School becomes everyone's #1 focus, which contributes to the mental health issues that get pushed out of the picture.
It becomes a vicious cycle. School causes stress, which makes school even harder, which causes more stress, which makes school even harder, and so on.
80% of students dealing with mental health problems feel overwhelmed by their responsibilities.
And 50% have become so anxious that they've struggled in school.
Studies have shown that suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death on college campuses.
On top of that, we have to keep up with this idea of having the perfect self-image. We have to focus on lighting, filters, angles, that we hide the imperfections that make us who we are. Life has to seem, or at least look, fun at all times.
That just isn't reality, but that's how society has forced us to portray it. The truth is, no one can be perfect all the time. Things get messy.
Because today's topic is so personal, rather than sending Julie or Maddie into the field, we decided to bring them into the studio to talk about teen struggles. So today we're here with Maddie and Julie from the field to talk about teen struggles.
I think a lot of teens and high schoolers struggle with anxiety, and I know that throughout high school I've struggled with anxiety, just going out to places, always wondering how I look, who's looking at me, when in reality not a lot of people are actually paying attention to how you look. People are always gonna hate on you and tell you that you can't do it, but you just have to believe in yourself that you can, and you can overcome anything.
Something that I've just noticed right now is it's even hard for all of us to open up, and I feel like the main reason why a lot of us struggle in this day and age is because we have this mindset where we're not supposed to talk about what we're struggling with. It's just really sad to see that so many of us, and I mean myself included, and I'm sure all of us here have felt it at some point too, that we may not feel like there's people here for us at the time where we're at our weakest.
It's uncomfortable to talk about. Like, we're sitting here going back and forth. Like, we can't talk about what's wrong because it's like forbidden. Like, it's like no one wants to see what's wrong with us, but we think so much about what other people think about us, and like we care. We're like, what are they gonna think? How are they gonna judge? Being around people used to scare me. Like even in Icons class last year, like when we had group discussions, I'd have to sit there and plan out every word I was gonna say, that way I wouldn't sound dumb in front of people. Like, I was scared of like talking, and I mean it's still kind of scary today, like just like thinking out loud and like putting your thoughts into words and worrying what everyone else around you is doing or thinking, or if they already know that. So that is a normal feeling, to just kind of be scared of the world around you.
We're coming to the end of this segment, so just remember
that you should be confident in who you are.
Remember that you're accepted and you are loved.
You're never alone in how you're feeling.
and you can always reach out to anyone.
Although it can be hard to share stories, it can be helpful. 40% of students who deal with mental health problems do not reach out for help.
Mental health problems such as depression or anxiety have become suppressed topics that no one really wants to talk about, and nobody really wants to hear about them either.
They're uncomfortable topics, and the stigma surrounding mental health problems is just as bad.
In reality, there are so many people that deal with them that it needs to be discussed.
Every time you get asked, how are you, or how's it going, how does that usually go?
It usually goes, great, thanks for asking, or another polite lie along those lines.
The response is never actually how someone is feeling. But pushing those feelings away and not dealing with them only makes the problem worse.
It all goes back to the expectation of being perfect. We have this idea in our head that everyone's doing okay when we don't want to be the odd one out. To get a full understanding, we decided to talk to our mental health counselor, Mrs. Gossett, to understand mental health issues. So today we're here with Miss Gossett, the mental health counselor for our school, and she's going to answer some questions about mental health. What are the general misconceptions about mental health, like a person who's dealing with it?
Might be that people are just trying to get attention. They may really be struggling and people go, oh, they're just trying to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Or that it's not real, a lot of people do overuse the words anxiety, depression. So
Yes.
I think people tend to ignore it or downplay when people say they're struggling with those things.
Mm-hmm.
Or that they have a choice about it. I think sometimes people say, well, if you really wanted to get past this or get over it, you would.
Some people may not want to deal with it or admit that they have an issue. How would they know that they have a problem?
A lot of times you should listen to the people who care about you. If people around you are worried about you or start pointing things out, maybe how you're acting different or things have changed, you should listen. Family members, close friends. And if you do start to feel like your sleeping habits have changed or eating habits or you're not enjoying things as much, try to take a look and see maybe what's going on and if there's a bigger issue that you need help with.
If you see a friend struggling, what are some ways that you could help them?
It's letting them know you're there, let them know you care.
Mm-hmm.
Ask if they want to talk about it. Is there anything you want to talk about? Kind of just vague questions, see where they go with that. If you notice anything that does cause you concern, let them know. Say, hey, I'm really worried about you. I've noticed, you've stopped eating lunch or something like that, or you look down all the time. Say, hey, what's going on? But I think asking, and if they open up a little bit, it might lead to something.
If you notice that you are having these problems and you do admit it, what are some healthy coping mechanisms that you can do?
Depends on what the issues are you're struggling with. A lot of students here struggle with stress, anxiety. I think exercise is a really good one. Get out, get some exercise. Healthy eating habits, plenty of sleep. I hear way too much people are not getting enough sleep, high school students. So make sure you're doing that. And also talk to people, talk to family, friends, people who care, reach out. And if you feel like you need something more, ask your parents or somebody in your life about it, or talk to your counselor here and reach out for help.
Thank you, Mrs. Gossett.
We definitely learned a lot about mental health that we didn't know before.
In all seriousness, if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out.
If all you can do for someone is be there for them to talk to, please do it.
A simple act of kindness can really impact someone in a positive way.
Even something as simple as a high five. On a lighter note, the end of the year is approaching quickly.
Which means our time with the PAWSE is coming to an end.
If you or someone you know is interested in joining the PAWSE crew next year, stop by Mr. Eiken's room, 408 for more information.
Auditions will be held on May 17th.
Well, that concludes this week's episode. Make sure to follow our Twitter @thepause and our Instagram @the.pause.
Now off to Mr. Mullen's conspiracy theory of the week. Hit it, Mullen!
Hello, and welcome to Mullen's Conspiracy Theories. This week, we're going to talk about the greatest conspiracy theory of all, the AP... You know what, guys? I can't really do it. Look, the AP exams are coming up. I know it's a stressful test, but at the end of the day, it's just a test. A test doesn't define who you are. It doesn't determine what you're going to become in the future. Just do your best. You'll be fine. Think about it.
That was good.
Whoa, we just did it. Dude, we just do that
It just
one
did it.
time.
Yeah, it just did it.
We just
Everyone was shook. Yeah, we could do it again. We could do it better.